Welcome to the Force Collective. We are back with another episode of Star Wars Topics. Um, so the Book of Boba Fett, guys. The Book of Boba Fett. We have a lot to talk about here. We just got a long discussion ahead. So before we get into
Like
that,
how bipolar it is?
yeah, exactly. There you go. That's one word for it.
Give me a second. The door just knocked.
Okay.
Be right back.
Well, all right. Well, we'll try to make it without you. I don't know if we can or not. Well, anyways, it's going to be this is going to be a not a heated discussion, but this last episode wasn't the worst one. The third one by far was my least favorite, but there's still a couple things in this episode. There is one thing that made me very happy, but there's a couple things in this episode that I'm sort of not happy with and all that. I just I don't know. I'm trying to process my thoughts of this series because not only does everybody else seem to think that this show is boring, but also my sister does, apparently, because she was watching it with me and fell asleep. She's a Star Wars fan. Loves Star Wars. She fell asleep. And she said that episode was so boring. Now, it might have been a little bit, but it wasn't as bad as the last episode with a few certain issues. So I thought this episode was probably much better. But if my sister fell asleep watching it, which, she's a massive Star Wars fan like I am, maybe not as massive as I am when it comes to Star Wars, but she is a massive fan nonetheless. We've loved it for years, If she fell asleep, then that's bad. So, but yeah, honestly, I don't know what to say about it yet, and I'm waiting for Sir away before we actually get into the discussion because there's quite a bit to talk about here.
Well, it's good to see that I'm back then.
Oh yeah, there you are. Hi, speak of the devil. Well, now that you're back,
And he shall appear.
Yes, that's a little Vane reference right there. So before we get into the discussion, we have a sponsor.
Hi, Mr. Ryan.
But the sponsor team is a little busy at the moment, so we'll wait on that. Anyways, I don't. It's been a very interesting week for me because last time that we talked, I talked about how I was snowed in and all that stuff a lot. How my car was froze. I told the stories about how I couldn't even get out of my car once I got to my job. Well, it almost happened again this time, except I didn't go to work today. Oh, you're back. Okay, I was trying to fill in like this. I was trying to fill in the empty space here because I'm still trying to wait. All right, the sponsor team's ready though. We're all good to go now. So I'll let the sponsor team take care of this. Go ahead.
Thank you, Shane. Today's sponsor for the Force Collective is Fire Spray Pest Spray. Are you a farmer having trouble with pests in the outer rim? Well, grab some of this product and blow them away. This company has recently released a new product, the Slave One, designed to handle the largest speeder gangs or sarlacc pits. With one pull of the trigger, wipe out these pests with extreme prejudice. Fire Spray Pest Spray, for when you need to remove annoyances off maps. Back to you, Shane.
Hey, that scene when he comes up behind those speeder boxes. I know I said I have some gripes, but that was a really good scene. I loved seeing the Slave One slowly come closer to the speeder box and just wipe them all out. That's something I feel like Boba Fett would have done.
That was the one time he ate like Boba Fett in 4 episodes.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true. I can't say you're wrong about that. There's a lot to talk about here, so we're going to start from the beginning, basically. I guess sort of, where he finds Fennec and all this stuff. I like how it ties in to the Mandalorian, but at the same time, this episode was mostly backstory and not enough present day stuff, you know? Because the show was advertised to be Boba Fett trying to, you know, take over what Jabba had left over. All we're seeing is Boba Fett trying to reclaim everything that he once had.
No.
Right after he got out of the Sarlacc pit.
No. This is exactly what it should have been. The first 3 episodes should have been all this backstory. The fact that they've been trying to split it up, I believe, has been the problem. Because the thing is that, as you said, the Slave One wiping out those speeder bikes were the first Boba Fett thing to happen in the book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Now, the annoying thing is that I now realize why they've done it this way. Still don't agree with why they've done it this way. Because the thing is that I would be should I go into spoiler territory with this if people have missed this?
We sort of already mentioned a spoiler or two, haven't we?
No. The thing is that what I'm about to say is possibly what happened or would be revelations in the next episode type of situation if people haven't realized this themselves.
Sure, why not? We'll go ahead and leave a spoiler warning right here, though. So for anybody that doesn't want this,
well, prediction spoiler warning.
Exactly, potential spoilers ahead. If you're afraid of being spoiled on the next episode, don't watch this part. Come back to us in about maybe an hour because this will take a long time. Usually our discussions take a while.
Because the thing is that I would be highly surprised if the Pike Syndicate wasn't the ones that wiped out the Tuscans.
Well, I'd say that it was probably them, to be honest. They probably hired that gang to exact their revenge.
No, that's the thing. I'm not even saying that.
You're saying
the Pike Syndicate went out, surrounded, and just wiped them off the map.
I get what
and then sprayed the Catan Strider tag on the tent, and then just sat back and watched the fireworks.
That sounds like something they would do, though. So I can see that now. I can actually see that.
And that's why I didn't really want to say anything, because the thing is that the minute Fennec said, the speeder bike gang wouldn't be able to do something like that. I can't remember what her line was. I've just sort of gone, oh God, it's going to be,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, though, when they're sitting
Pike
at that fire with the bantha, and after she got out of that mod parlor.
Yeah, and when she said it, it made sense. I was also thinking, like, really, those guys in the speeders wiping them out, it's a bit extreme, especially when you see the state the camp is in.
And I mean, the thing is also is that even that big lot of speeders that that Boba Fett wiped out, I think even they would have trouble with the camp.
Oh yeah,
because I mean, it's sort of even though it's not a town, even though it's not a wall, it's, an entrenched position, and generally you need double or triple the numbers to take out an entrenched position.
Oh yeah.
So and there was definitely not enough speeder bikes for that.
Oh no, I agree completely. The only way I feel like they would have even had remotely a chance of doing something like that is if they had surprise attacked, didn't, so they wouldn't have a chance to get themselves ready. But even then, once they got their bearings a little, I feel like there would have been a little less carnage than what there was. So I can honestly see where you're going with this, and I can agree that that actually sounds like something they would do anyway, knowing the Pikes, that is. So that I don't think you hit off too far away from the mark on that one.
Yep, but I mean, it is sort of one of those sort of situations of, did everyone realize this, or or is it only a few people?
It might only be a few people because even I didn't think about that, and I'm
I hadn't
usually
thought of it until you brought it up.
Yeah, but I can see it now because I understand how these people work. I can see that because I don't feel like they would like to be marched home by foot, basically, and humiliated like that without trying to get back in some way. That's the kind of people they are. So I feel like you're probably right.
And the thing is that it does kind of explain why they've written the show the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing is if you weren't it now just seems to be a direct, not even a directing choice, but a writing choice to split it up so you can in parallel understand that, frankly, the Pikes are the big bad guys.
True. Mm-hmm.
Where, honestly, I think I honestly think that it would be better to have, the past be its own group of episodes, and then current day be the current episodes. Because then Boba Fett wouldn't be looked like a weak character.
Mm-hmm.
And you would now then understand why he's behaving the way he's behaving with
Yeah.
in the present. I think people would still sort of go, "What the hell are you doing to Boba Fett?" type of situation. But yeah.
Yeah. So, that's a pretty good theory, to be honest. I like that, and I sort of hope in a way that's how it went. I want there to be some dark stuff going on in the background, and if the Pikes are behind it, then of course that'll make it pretty interesting. The Pikes are an interesting group, to say the least. I'm trying to think of what else I was getting ready to say, but now I've lost it.
But actually, there's. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. You're good.
But there is one thing that I sort of want to bring up.
Okay.
Isn't it really bizarre that all the good episodes of Boba Fett are not directed by what's the guy's name again?
Started with an R. I'm trying to remember.
Rodriguez.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to the next episode just to see, or the next episode that he directs, because so far all the bad episodes, or at least all the average episodes, have been directed by him.
Mm-hmm.
But all the good episodes are being directed by other people.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean,
So,
there's only one
Go.
major gripe. There's only one major gripe right now in this particular episode, and that's the fact that Boba Fett does not call it the Slave One. Now, I might sound like one of those crybabies that they talk about when they say that we're complaining about a name or something like that. But, the name has a meaning to that character, and they're acting like that name doesn't exist. So I don't feel like they're doing complete justice to that character because, the Slave One meant something to his father. It meant something to him. Why in the world have him say the fire spray gunship? I feel like that's a little annoying. I don't know what you guys think about that. Or I can assume what you think, but go ahead and
I think that it's not really. I mean, yeah. If we want to play it mature enough, it's like, yeah, okay. It's not the end of the world. It's not like the franchise just just ended because of it. But it is a stupid decision because it's not based on storytelling. It's not based on quality. It's based on ideology.
mm-hmm.
And the fact that you would go out of your way to please these ranting people on Twitter at the cost of the essence of your franchise, that is really annoying as a fan. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, it's the kind of stuff that makes you want to drop whatever they put out. It's like, no, I'm not going to support you because you clearly don't care about it as much as I do. And
Now,
even if they were going to drop the name, this fire spray thing is really stupid. It doesn't really feel Star Wars at all. It would have been even better if they had just said, I want you to help me get back my ship, and leave it at that. You're not
that's
gonna call
exactly
it
what
the
I was
Slave
thinking.
One. Yeah, it's call it ship, and that's it.
No, they don't want to pull a High Republic and just call it the vessel now, okay?
No, please don't.
No, but I that's one of the three thoughts that went through my head when I heard him say that. Now, well, four thoughts. I have four different thoughts, and I said, why not just say, "Help me get my ship, the Slave One, back," or "Help me get my ship back," or um, I mean, the last thought that I had was that I guess it wasn't so intrusive them calling it the fire spray gunship because he was telling her what model it was. So at the same time, it doesn't sound like it's super intrusive, like they're trying to erase its name. But I mean, because if he had said, "Help me get my ship, get my fire spray ship or whatever," just calling it fire spray, that's one thing instead of Slave One. But he said, "Help me get my fire spray gunship." So he's telling her what the model is. So I guess it's not the worst thing, but the fact that she already knows about Boba, because when he told her that he was Boba Fett, she said Boba Fett is dead. So she knows who he is, so she probably knows what kind of ship he flies. I don't think there's really any reason for her to have to know what model the ship is. If he's such a legendary bounty hunter, everybody should already know what ship he's flying. And the fact that he doesn't call it the Slave One is a little disappointing. But I mean, like you said, if you want to play it the mature way, which is how we should, it's not the end of the world, but it is a little bit disappointing, to be honest. And I mean that's coming from a Star Wars fan who, even though they didn't mention exactly the name of the ship in any of the movies, the outside lore is what's also very important, or was very important at the time. And the fact they called it the Slave One and the meaning behind it, that's all important to this character. And this show is supposed to be built around this character. It's supposed to be a love letter to this character, basically, and they're not exactly treating it like that. So I don't know. That's my thoughts on that. I ain't got much else to say on that. I just wanted to mention that. And what about you, Soraya? Do you got anything to say about that?
The the thing is that she might not know. I mean, sort of one of those things of. Hang on, best example. You know about the Enterprise. Do you necessarily know what model it is?
Well, I mean,
I mean, you know,
you
let's
can go
use
that-
the real life. Let's use the real life Enterprise. It's an aircraft character. Aircraft carrier. But what model is it?
True.
So the thing is that yeah, it might be known that he flies the Slave One, but might not know. You know, everyone might not know what model.
Well,
it is.
okay. Well, given that then, but wouldn't she know it just by the looks of it? Because, I mean, if she's heard of him, she's probably seen something about him at some point. I mean, she's old enough to know who he is. She's old enough to have maybe seen him around once or twice. But
Universe.
I mean, I guess we don't have any lore that.
Yeah,
I mean, but
universe.
hypothetically though, a character like her should have some knowledge about some of the most legendary bounty hunters if she aspires to be one like that, you know? I mean, she's not exactly a bounty hunter. She's more of an assassin, but she does work for money. She's in a way like a bounty hunter. She's in a similar field.
It's all sort of it is sort of very much a sort of big case of what's the word I'm looking for?
I'm not sure. You tell me.
Yeah. We are sort of seeming to fit into the whole character knowledge and player knowledge problem.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
So
I get what you're going for now.
Yeah,
I think we had this discussion once before.
So
over a different topic.
Yeah. So I mean, the situation is that you could know about Boba Fett, the bounty hunter, but you're not going to have the encyclopedic knowledge. Why? Because you're too busy doing your job.
That's probably true. But one more argument, though. There's one more small argument I can make. Let's take Star Wars Episode 7. Okay? So when Rey finds out that she's on the Millennium Falcon, she says, "This is the Millennium Falcon, and you're Han Solo." So she recognized the ship, so therefore she knew who the man that was in front of her was.
Yes, but you're forgetting one simple thing.
What?
The Millennium Falcon helped blow up the Death Star.
Yeah, but you know, I mean,
and you know, you've got to remember, we are
she
talking
wasn't born
about
at that time, though.
So
how would she know?
Yeah, but I mean, we are talking about war. Hang on a second. Yeah, we are talking about a war hero.
Okay.
We're
a legendary bounty hunter who was after war hero.
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking about something that we're talking about. It's almost sort of like the difference between knowing a famous footballer and something, and you know, everyone who's a footballer or anyone who's a sports fan would know who that footballer is.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone that everyone would know about. Boba Fett is the footballer. Han Solo is the person that everyone knows. Because the thing is that, Boba Fett does a whole lot of things in the criminal underworld and, is famous for being a bounty hunter. So the thing is that if you are criminal adjacent, you know about Boba Fett. Or if you're a person that might have a bounty put on him, you know about Boba Fett.
Mm-hmm.
But every man and their dog would know Han Solo. Why? Because he helped change the entirety of the universe, or the galaxy.
At least until The Force Awakens, but that's
besides
the point.
Yes,
that's besides the point.
But, it's the difference of scope. Boba Fett, limited scope. Han Solo, unlimited scope.
Yeah, but even if it's a limited scope, Fennec knows who he is, and given the job they do and the way they presented her to us, being this incredibly resourceful and feared bounty hunter, he even calls her master assassin. So, yeah, by no means is she not aware of his ship. He probably heard everything there is to know about him.
But okay,
one other thing to mention though is that he knew who she was, but he had just come out of a Sarlacc pit, so she had to been well known before he fell into the Sarlacc pit too.
Yeah, but I mean,
he's introducing the Mandalorian. We hear people talking about her like she's this super big shot among assassins. So if you are on her level, that's because you have performed incredible feats and you have a lot of information and you're well resourceful in the medium that you're working on. So yeah, of course he had to know who he was, what ship he flies, what he's done. I'm pretty sure she's supposed to know.
But is it important to know? And the simple fact of the matter is that no, not really. Unless unless Boba Fett's coming after you, it's not at the same level of general knowledge.
Okay, well, here's one thing that we haven't thought of, a possibility that is, and this relates to the Bad Batch. And you know how Fennec is in the Bad Batch. There might be some sort of scene in maybe season 2 or whatever, because they mentioned Boba Fett, and I have a feeling they'll try to find Boba Fett at some point during the show of the Bad Batch. And since Fennec has showed up in the show, there might be some sort of not a scene, but like maybe Boba Fett will in some way hear of this Fennec Shand or whatever. And I mean, now this is just a dumbed down version of, this is not well thought out at all. I'm just saying that maybe there's a possibility that there will be some way for Boba Fett to find out who she is in the show. So there is a little background to how he knows who she is. And maybe she'll hear of him in the show or something like that. I don't know. There might be something like that, but their first meeting won't be until that episode of The Mandalorian where he's walking up to her, and which they showed in this current episode. So I don't know. I mean, there might be something they can do with that, and maybe she'll end up knowing who this Boba Fett character is, but they probably won't meet.
No, I just put it together in my head. Yeah, I know what you mean.
I mean, the thing is that is it possible that they know each other's rep? Well, the answer is yeah. It's not that difficult to sort of go, yeah, no, they'll know of each other, but there's a big difference between knowing of each other and knowing what each other drive, what they like for breakfast, or
Okay.
that type of detailed
Yeah.
information.
I guess you're right.
So they might know. Oh, he flies the ship called the Slave One. What's the Slave One?
Yeah, but in Star Wars, ships are pretty much like pirate ships for pirates. People know these ships. They are legendary. They are famous. The Millennium Falcon was famous before blowing up the Death Star, not because of Han Solo, but it was a famous ship.
Well, yeah, Ray did mention the Kessel Run as well. She didn't mention the Death Star when she brought up Han Solo, saying that you're Han Solo. This is the ship that made the Kessel Run. So maybe she knows the ship just from that Kessel Run. So maybe there's something that people should know about the Slave One that makes it distinct to other ships as well.
But I mean, yet again, it sort of does go back to of the ship, but you don't necessarily know the specs. Yeah, it's sort of like, oh, the Millennium Falcon did the Castle Run. What type of ship is it?
Well, I guess you have it there. I mean,
Boba Fett in the Slave One just captured a whole lot of people. Oh, so what is it? It's the Slave One.
Well, I can see that this argument is not going to get anywhere because we're both. Well, I'd probably coming up with more convincing arguments for why she doesn't know because you seem to have an answer for everything we've thrown at you so far. So,
what, you're surprised?
No, I'm not. I'm not surprised. Actually, I'm quite intrigued on how you come up with all these answers. But honestly, you're probably right. And I mean, I'm just trying to think of possibilities of how that could have worked if she did know about it. And honestly, I mean, I feel like in a way that if you don't know what he drives, though, I mean, that's sort of sad because everybody knows the Millennium Falcon. And this is Star Wars, so everybody knows somebody by their ship that they fly. So, yeah. I mean, it's almost in a way impossible to have a character that's not known for their ship if they have a iconic ship. So, I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
but yet again, it does come back to
not knowing what they drive and all that. Yeah,
and the thing is that yes, you will. If you know Boba Fett, you will probably know the Slave One. Yet again, you might not know what the Slave One is.
Well, I mean, what I was meaning mainly by that is, like, maybe they haven't seen it, but they know what it is. They might not know the model. They know what it is, but they don't know what it looks like. Now, if they did end up knowing what it looks like, you don't have to know what a car looks like to know the model. But you don't. Sometimes you won't be able to tell the model just by looking at it. It depends on how well you know cars. So if you see my car, you'll recognize it the next time you see it, but you might not know what my car is, what model it is. Only until I tell you what it is will you know what it is. So it's a possibility that she either doesn't know what the model is but has seen it, or she most likely she hasn't seen it, doesn't even know the model of it, but she does know it by its name. So that's an entire possibility right there as well. We made a whole discussion just out of the name of Slave One and how she doesn't know what it is. How did we do this?
Yeah, this is how much fun the show has been.
Well, let's go on to something else. I think we talked about the Slave One, at least them mentioning the Slave One without mentioning the name of the Slave One. So let's move on. So the whole episode, huh?
Moving on to the next rant.
Yes, the next rant. Well, this episode's not that bad. Not enough for me to want to rant about Power Ranger bikes that they, have. Because, I mean, there is one, like, near the beginning of the episode where they do show one of those speeder bikes again, but it's near the mod parlor where Fennec Shand gets her lower abdomen reconstructed. Modded, yes. So it's briefly shown there. It wasn't super intrusive, and I feel like in a way that one wasn't the worst looking one that we'd seen because it didn't look like it was the brightest colored bike that I'd seen on the show. But that
it also helped that it was nighttime.
exactly. That's what I was about to say. Like, it probably helped that the lighting was not there that much. It was dark, you know. So, I mean, it probably just boiled down to the lighting at that point. But, you know, I don't have anything in this episode that makes me want to rant like I just did about the Slave One. I mean, because that's really the only main issue that I had with this episode. Now let's talk about a couple of the positive things. Like, let's go to near the end of the episode first, because this one I wanted to talk about, and that's where we see the gladiator Wookiee guy. I keep forgetting how to pronounce his name. I'm going, yeah, that name. Yes. Well, anyways, so he ends up like he's just watching these Trandoshans having a lot of fun playing cards. He's just looking at them, probably thinking about all the. I'm assuming he's thinking about all the hardship that his people have suffered underneath the hand of the Trandoshans, because they were always hunting Wookiees. That's one of their favorite pastimes, of course. So he's probably like, yeah, you know what? I want revenge. And he goes up and like literally slings them all around the place and then rips a guy's arm off. So this is the first time on screen that we see somebody get their arms ripped off by a Wookiee. And that made me extremely happy, because I'm like, you know what? That Chewie was said to have been able to do that. And apparently, and I just learned this, I've only watched the movie once. Chrono has told me that there is a scene in Solo where a guy gets his arms ripped off, but he couldn't remember exactly how it happened or if they showed it. And the answer to that was, because I checked it before stream because we were talking about this a little bit. The answer is it was not shown on screen that his arms were ripped off. Han Solo was fighting a guy. Chewie was fighting a guy. It pans to Han Solo. He knocks a guy over. Basically, I'm just making this short and simple. He knocks a guy over, and then you hear like the sound of something being torn apart, and then then the camera pans over to Chewie, who's standing next to him, holding two arms. It wasn't showing him rip arms off, so it was nice to see that they add a little bit of grittiness to the episode. I mean, I like that they were not afraid to show somebody lose a limb at this point.
One question though, did was there any blood? I don't remember.
I don't think there was blood. I don't think they were going to go that far. But
no blood.
No blood. I didn't think so, but you did get the idea of what just happened, and you got to sort of see it happen too. So it wasn't. I mean, it is a more family oriented show, but it does have some more mature themes to it. So I wouldn't expect them to be all gory like a horror movie kind of deal, where people get their
My
arms ripped.
9-year-old nephew asked for some blood.
Yeah.
He was like, hey, why is he not bleeding? And I was like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, maybe they should add a little bit just to make it a little more realistic. But at the same time, I'm not complaining too much about it. But I guess that is a little off-putting to think about it. I mean, if somebody did get their arm ripped off, I'm sure that there'd be a lot of blood all over the place. So I mean, that for anybody that pays attention a lot to those kinds of details would probably be a little ticked off by that, or not even ticked off, but more like just bugged by it. Like they're just looking at it and seeing that there's no blood. They're like, does he not have blood going through his body, or is he a robot? Like, what's going on here? So yeah, I get that, but at least we got to see a Wookiee do it. That's my thought process at the moment, because I was just excited. Like the whole time he was holding that guy up and that lady was trying to calm him down, telling him, hey, you know what? I'll wipe off your debt. Just put the guy down, let them enjoy what they're doing. I was like halfway to believing that he was about to just let him go. And the moment that I thought he was literally just about to let the guy down and, go about his business, he rips the arm off, and that made me so happy. I'm like, yes, they're not dumbing the show down that much. They're actually letting the Wookiee fight. They're actually letting somebody do something in this episode. So, I was
I guess
happy.
this is a good time to remind the audience that this is a kid-friendly channel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Let's remind the audience about my kid friendliness here. Kid friendly. Yes, the most kid friendly channel around. We do not condone the death of kids, okay, at the hands of any lightsaber wielding maniac. We just make fun of it. I'm doing it too. So, so, anyways, now that my little problem had to be taken care of, it's an addiction. It's a problem. I'm addicted to showing that little clip. I have to do it every single stream. So now that I've taken care of my addiction for this episode, that's a bad way to put it. I'm not addicted to anything, I promise. But it's a tradition.
Maybe that's the
Maybe
and here I was sitting waiting for the scene to pop up again.
Oh, did it not show up again? Oh, wait. Wow, I missed that cue. I missed that so bad. Oh my gosh. I'm not with it today. I mentioned this before streaming. I guess I forgot to mention it at the beginning of this one, but I'm a little under the weather. So if I miss something, it's because my brain isn't working correctly. And if I stop talking because I'm like my throat's literally dying, then you'll know why now. 41 minutes into the stream, and I'm just now mentioning that. So yay. I'm a great host. So, anyways, what are your thoughts, guys, on the Wookiee arm ripping scene? I'll start with Sir AOA this time.
Needed more blood?
Well, okay, besides that, because I think we covered that a little bit.
No, it was a really good scene. I very much sort of liked the talking down from the hostess. It really suited her character, and it really sort of it gave us a good look of her character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it. Pretty much you've said most of the stuff that I would have said. It was a really sort of well done scene.
The only complaint that I ever have whenever they enter that, I guess, cantina or gambling parlor, whatever you want to call that place, I don't know what it's called. The only complaint I have is it feels like whenever they go back to it, they play the same intro scene to it every single time. They pan to this group, and then they pan to this droid that's at this table. They keep replaying that scene. That's what it feels like. It might be different every time, but it feels like they do the same thing every time you enter that cantina place. I don't know if you guys notice that, but they always pan to that droid at the table every single time. I notice that every time. And I'm just thinking, we know that there's a droid doing whatever it is it's doing. They don't have to show us that. Show us something different.
So actually, I remembered something about that scene. And that was the hostess calling out to Max to get back to playing music. I liked that callback.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a good callback. It is.
And it did definitely feel in universe. It seemed right that
well, what I'm saying is it feels like they repeat it every time they show it in that in this series. You know what I'm saying? Like when they first walk into it, and then it starts panning to this person who's doing this over here.
No, actually, I'm pretty sure all the scenes were different.
But they always show that droid at the table. I'm just trying to figure out what that table, what they're doing at that table. But there's this droid in the center of
gambling?
the table. Okay, no duh. I figured that there was like a certain thing that they were doing at that table that I don't know what kind of gambling activity they were doing. I was trying to think if I knew that. Well, before we continue, boom,
Hello.
hello.
Hi.
Yo!
She's here. Hopefully everything went well. The traffic probably hopefully cooperated because you wouldn't be here if it didn't. So nice
True.
to have you on here.
Did it part like the Red Sea?
Um,
I'll take that
I
as a
wish.
nod.
Yeah, no, I don't think it did. Not from the sounds of it. Oh well. Well, how are you doing today, Commander Tano?
I'm all right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of blah.
Blah. I
Yep.
feel that. I feel that. What were your thoughts? I'm going to go ahead and just switch to you for a minute because you just now joined in, and we've already sort of said our piece a little bit about it. So, what's your thoughts about this episode so far?
So short thoughts. It wasn't perfect, but much improved from last one. Mainly because there were, apart from the one mod scene towards the beginning, I was like,
Yeah,
everything else, I was like, okay, this works. This was interesting. I'm kind of, it's funny watching all of this. It's like I kind of feel like almost what they should have done for for all of their live action stuff. They should have maybe planned it as such. Not that you necessarily had a bunch of these little kind of shows all separate, like you have the Mandalorian, you have the Book of Boba Fett, and whatever other things they want to do, but like have just one big show for this era of stuff. And yeah, there could be arcs where you switch between certain characters and whatever. It'd be like the Clone Wars, but live action and for that period.
that's what I was thinking.
Because it's like I'm enjoying a lot of what I'm seeing, but I'm like, in retrospect, this could be structured. If you structured this differently, it would. I feel like it would just work and flow much better.
I agree. I agree. I was thinking about that myself a little while ago, thinking that but I didn't think about it in the capacity that you did. I was thinking that this show, The Book of Boba Fett, even though it is mainly about them, in a way, I was sort of hoping that they could pull a Clone Wars and make like not all the episodes interconnected, if you know what I mean. I mean, what I'm saying is, if they wanted to show an episode about his past, they would just make a full episode of it. It wouldn't be like it's the next part of the story. It's just there, like how you would get episode like let's talk about season 3 of Star Wars: The Clone Wars. There was episodes of season 3 like the I think it was the first 2 episodes of season 3. I can't remember for sure, but they take place on Camino. The first episode does, where Domino Squad is training, and Domino
Yep.
Squad mostly, besides Echo and Fives, is dead before season 3 begins. So this is an episode that predates the 5th episode of season 1. So what I'm thinking is that the Book of Boba Fett should be more or less a show like the Clone Wars, and if they wanted to show an episode about something to do with his past or how he met with Fennec Shand, let him do it. It doesn't have to be all interconnected like that, and so that's what I was thinking when I was talking about this with you guys on the stream today. So I see where you're going with that, and I like that idea.
And for instance, it's interesting. Another thing I thought in relation to this. I know sometimes I've seen, in the news or whatever, them considering like, animating the original movies or stuff like
Yeah.
that. And it's like if you kept for instance, if you kept, the basically basically as much of the audio from those original movies as possible and just animated them and had it all the same style of the Clone Wars. And yeah, you could maybe find clever ways to kind of do Clone Wars spin on it. That would actually be kind of interesting. Not now if they like radically changed characters or did stuff like that. That I have misgivings about that. But I was thinking it's almost a pity. Like I almost wish someone. It would have to be like far in the future. It's like when they've done all these live action things, I get it's too late to kind of restructure stuff that way. But I was thinking, it'd almost be cool. Like you could totally do this. Do like an animated series for this era, and you can use even the you've already got the voices in each of the these shows. You could just kind of plug them in, animate it, and also reorder things so that you actually have something a little bit more cohesive and has a better flow to it, and just have that kind of a Clone Wars for that stretch of stuff, and that would just and you could add more stuff in between, or kind of do some different cut and paste to kind of revise a bit areas where where you had some issues with kind of narrative flow with these shows, because I'm sure this isn't like I anticipate whenever they do the Ahsoka show, it's going to run to the same issues unless they kind of learn from this, because they're going to be split between trying to kind of fill in the blanks for an audience who has no background knowledge about any of these stories, and while also trying to please the audience that does have that knowledge. And it's like it's if you're trying to do that within the space of a single show, it just gets choppy, like we're seeing with this one.
But that's a little bit different. Boba Fett was definitely in a different location than Ahsoka would be, because the thing is that you kind of need to explain why all of a sudden Boba Fett wanted to wipe out Bib and take over. That there was a lot more that needed to be explained from the Sarlacc pit to the Mandalorian, where there really isn't that. You don't really need to do that for Ahsoka. You can
I guess the one
you can just start with where she was from the Mandalorian.
You could. I guess my one question, and this remains to be seen, because my understanding is and I haven't followed this, so I maybe things were changed. My understanding was that they were going to tie that show to some Rebels stuff, and so that could be an issue, just because there is quite a bit of. There is some exposition there that you're going to have to kind of handle. And also, I think just for I think more Star Wars fans, I think a lot of them at this point know who Ahsoka is, but I would still say more of them know who Boba Fett is, and know kind of the plot of Return of the Jedi and have that. Whereas there are still a lot of them who don't really get her background, and that might, who knows? That could pose an issue.
But I mean, the thing is that if they want to know about her background, well, they've got a lot of content to start watching. I don't think you really should.
I agree. That's the thing. I agree. I feel like if I feel like with these shows, if you're choosing between to err on the side of, let's fill in lots of background so that people can kind of get what's going on, or just let them go back and find the content and get the background themselves, I err on let them get the background themselves. And I think that's an issue I've got currently with the Boba Fett show, is it's like, I feel like
the thing though with the Boba Fett show is that there is no content to go back and watch for the period that they're showing.
Yeah, I feel like maybe what I'm trying to get at is just like they need to trust the audience a little bit more to kind of.
I said this earlier in the stream, and I'll say it again, just for you, Lady Tano, is that and now I've completely forgotten it.
You pulled the shade. You pulled the shade today.
Yeah. No, but I mean I think the main reason why they split this up is mainly for the not surprising reveal that we're going to get in the next few episodes that it was the Pikes that did it with the blasters in the kitchen. That solves the case of the murder of the Tuscan tribe. And I apologize yet again for anyone that didn't realize that.
We did say spoiler alert. We did say spoiler alert earlier, so if you weren't here, sorry.
Yeah. So the now I've lost my train of thought again. Woo!
Wait, you're pulling two shades now.
Yeah.
I'll accept whatever you were going to say was very profound.
No, it's so I mean the thing is that I think the reason why they've been running the story parallel rather than just sort of like splitting up the season between pre-shooting Bib and after shooting Bib.
I like that pre-shooting Bib and after.
Is so they can sort of attach the Pikes together in the same episode as, you're stepping towards the war with them type situation, rather than doing 3 episodes in a pre-Bib, which I reckon they still should have done, and then the rest of the season in a post-Bib.
Well, if my theory about how his I guess final visions of his past had ended, if my theory is correct, we might be at the end of those visions, because
I absolutely agree.
And in a way, I'm sort of happy about that, because now we can actually get into what the show was advertised to be. But
yeah,
in a way, I don't feel like we needed to know all that beforehand. Maybe we should have got small bits and pieces of it. Now, I know earlier you said that that's what this whole season should have been about, firstly, or maybe the first 3 episodes or whatever. But in a way, I mean, they did advertise this show to be Boba Fett, taking over Tatooine.
But I mean, the thing is that the thing is that we definitely did need to understand why he's gone from disintegrate first, ask questions later, to let's talk around the table and not massacre each other.
Well,
that kind of needed to be fleshed out before,
I just feel like
realize why and where he is at now.
Well, I feel like they could have maybe done it in a way that wasn't like that, didn't take as long. You know what I mean? They could have showed that, where he got captured by the Tusken Raiders. But the reason why I was bringing that up is because I feel like that, the book community, the people that actually like the lore books and not lore books, well, you know what I mean, like the books and the external lore. I feel like they could have done something with the Book of Boba Fett, since it is called the Book of Boba Fett. They should have maybe released a couple books talking about how he met up with Fennec Shand, or how he fixed
Hell no.
Oh, you don't think so?
Absolutely not. The books should be supplemental, not required reading.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. Like that's not something that we had to absolutely know for the main story that we were supposed to be getting.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is that there's all of these fights. Well, actually, I wouldn't say fights. I would say there's all these rants on Twitter right now on how much of a geez, why does it have to go to PG? How much of a wimp Boba Fett is.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, it did need to be explained. How, like I said, the bounty hunter that was very much sort of disintegrate first, disintegrate second, then start asking questions, and someone who in 4 episodes the only amount of slaughtering he has done has been a speeder bike gang in his ship.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So just just using the post bib sections of the show, yeah, you definitely did need to explain all this. It definitely needed a sort of this is why and this is how. And I think the biggest mistake was to actually split it up, because both pre and post haven't had the enough time or space to fully flex their wings.
Mm-hmm. Also, random thought. I mean, are you done, or do you have something else to say before I give this random thought real quick?
No, unless someone can come up with a better term for allowing to flourish. That's probably the
Okay. Oh yeah.
Because of the split, neither post or pre has had enough time to fully flourish. And
Actually,
I
you're right.
I still reckon first 3 episodes should have been a pre-bib story to fully flesh everything out, to fully expand on everything that needed to be expanded on. And from the sound of it, I think you could probably have gone to 4 episodes just to give it that sort of necessary depth that explains his change of direction in the post-bib
Well,
post-bib mentality.
Well, how I see it, they should have made the episodes longer, first of all, and I mentioned this in a previous discussion. They should have made the episodes longer, and if they had made these into hour-long episodes, I bet they could have told the story of Boba Fett, like pre-bib, in 2 episodes, and then the other 6 episodes be present day. I mean, they don't all have to be 1 hour long episodes. They can be close to it, but I feel like they could have shortened some of that down just a little bit. I don't know if like most of it was necessary.
And I don't think, I don't think you could have really removed stuff from the pre-bib. I actually honestly think that you should have added more. Because everything did feel a little bit rushed, and it it did feel like they captured Boba on Tuesday. He saved the child on Wednesday. He got his stick on Thursday, and everyone was massacred on Friday.
Yeah.
It now, of course, sitting down and really thinking about it, you sort of like go, yeah, nah. It was definitely more time, but that's the problem. It didn't feel like there was more time. It felt like, within 4 days, everything happened, and the Tusken tribe was murdered on Friday.
Okay, well, that also brings me back to my random thought, though, that I was about to mention earlier. So, we know that The Mandalorian takes place 5 to 6 years after Return of the Jedi. Okay, so that also begs the question, when does Boba Fett somehow wake up after, being eaten by a Sarlacc? When in the timeline is he waking up? Because I don't see how a person can survive even inside the Sarlacc pit for close to 5 to 6 years without food or any water. I mean, you got to think about that. How is he alive in that Sarlacc pit? So are they showing, like, when that first scene shows up and when he gets captured by those Tusken Raiders, how much time do you think is going by? Because I don't think that Boba Fett would have lasted for 5 years and then woke up. Because, like you said, the show feels like it's going by fast. Like, time feels like it's progressing really quick, but we all should know that it isn't. But I don't think we're given a specific time frame to when Boba Fett actually exits the Sarlacc pit. So if he does,
I'm just going back and checking.
Okay, see that's something that's been bothering me these last few episodes.
Because if I remember, there was smoking wreckage in the background.
Was it smoking? I didn't actually pay attention to that. I thought it was.
And I mean, if you think about it, it would have been very soon after the barge gets destroyed, because the Jawas rocked up to pretty much scavenge everything.
You're probably right. See, I was thinking that the barge had, it was no longer on fire. If you get what I mean, and it wasn't like just smoking wreckage at the time. But now I'm going back to check it. If you find it before I do, tell me.
But even then, your argument still stands, because okay, he got out of the Sarlacc like hours or maybe a day after. Still, what bridges the gap between those years? Because he caught up to the Mandalorian. I mean, how much time did he spend with the Tuskens?
Yeah, because it doesn't feel like there's. It feels like it's all going on during the same time period. It feels like he wakes up 5 years afterward, and then, like you said, Tuesday he gets captured, Wednesday he joins them, and then all that stuff. It just feels like it's all rushed together. So I really wish they would give us a bit more of not a visible time. They would be a little more transparent about the time that this is taking place in. But at this very moment, I'm taking a look at how.
No, there really isn't much of a smoking wreckage.
That's what I'm saying. But I didn't remember that.
Yeah. But the thing is that, frankly, the Jawas wouldn't have rocked up just because they saw Boba Fett lying on the ground. Oh, hang on. Yeah.
That's another thing that bothered me from this episode. Like, why the hell would he go and look for his armor inside the pit?
That is true.
He has to know that that's not where it is. He was almost awake when he tried to stop the Jawas from taking it. So there's no way he doesn't remember The armor is not inside the Sarlacc.
I would imagine that whatever happened to him during that time messed with him. I mean, they did like knock him unconscious after they had stripped him of his armor. So, in a way, I can almost see that maybe when they knocked him unconscious, he just doesn't remember very well what happened at that point. So he was probably thinking that maybe the armor was removed in the Sarlacc pit or something like that. But that's the only thing I can give it that would make somewhat some sense. But it did bother me a little bit too because I know that the armor isn't in there, and I feel like he should know, but at the same time, maybe he really doesn't, and maybe he just can't remember how things went down. But I wish they would have gave us a reason to believe that instead of us trying to make excuses for it. See, that's the problem, though. We're all here trying to make excuses for why this happened or that happened when they should be telling us a little bit more, which they haven't. I mean, not to say that scene was bad because I thoroughly enjoyed that scene for one main reason, and that's the other part that I wanted to talk about earlier that we skipped over just to talk about the Wookiee guy. But
I don't mind him going back to the Sarlacc and the whole thing with the mine and everything. That's okay. But
Mhm.
if the reason to go back is to look for the armor, that's really stupid. He's supposed to know that and maybe he doesn't know where it is, but he has to know that he had it on him when he exited, and he tried to prevent the Jawas from taking it. He was barely conscious, I know, but we are learning all this through his flashbacks. If it's on his mind, he's supposed to know.
that's true. That's true. If he is sort of in a way reliving those moments as visions, he should have known that. Now that I think about that, so in a way, it is sort of stupid, but I feel like there could have been a better reason for him to go back to the Sarlacc pit just to blow it up with the seismic charge, which was my favorite part of the episode. I love
Yes.
anytime somebody blows up something with a seismic charge, I'm there just dying because I'm in such awe of the scene, you know. But just out of pure revenge, you know, I feel like that would be something Boba Fett would have done. All the suffering that he had to endure just at the time, you know, and costing him his livelihood at the time. But he also probably needs to direct his anger at Luke as well, because Luke and Han and Chewie and Lando, just all of them. They were the ones that took that from him by hitting him in the back. Basically, they were causing that whole issue to go on at the time. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. And then I can't remember. I think it was Han Solo that hit his jetpack. I feel like he should still have somewhat of a hatred for Han Solo. I don't feel like that should have went away. And for him to go back to that Sarlacc pit, which symbolizes the loss of his livelihood at the time, it makes sense for him to go back and just blow it to bits. You know, that I thought it was dead in the first episode. It was cool to see that it wasn't dead, but at the same time, I don't know how that thing held his ship down. I know the Sarlacc is pretty strong, but if it was that strong, then why did it take Lando so long to get pulled in by it? You know, because Lando is much lighter than the Slave One, especially if the Slave One is like reverse thrusting trying to get out. Lando was like he was holding on to somebody holding some sort of pole. If that thing was as strong as it was in the Book of Boba Fett, it should have ripped him right down into the pit.
Here's one question I have, and I get it's not Star Wars doesn't follow laws of physics. It's not supposed to make sense. But like, how does that ship reverse thrust?
That's a good question.
You know, because it can't. It can't. Like it just magically hovers like you know what I mean? Like.
Well, one thing that I sort of found funny as well is that he leans the ship forward. You know, it's flat facing the ground, okay? And he covers the Sarlacc pit with the ship, and then looks. I think he looks over to Fennec, or he's still looking down there trying to figure out if he can see it. And then he says, "It's too dark down here." He does realize that the ship is blocking out all light because it's so big and covering up the entire pit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of I don't know. That sort of bugged me a little bit. I'm like, you should have known this was going to happen if you covered the whole Sarlacc pit with your ship. And like I said earlier, that Sarlacc should not have been able to pull his ship down that hard if it couldn't hardly pull Lando down there. You know what I mean?
And there's stuff like this all over before episodes, and it leads me to think that whoever's writing this and directing this, they don't really pay attention to this stuff. I mean, yeah, like Commander Tano said, we can give them a pass on many things, but this feels like they don't even try. Like, yeah, go for it. We don't care. I really get that vibe from all these small mistakes.
Now, I mean, there could be something that I'm missing when it comes to a Sarlacc, but maybe Lando was uh, maybe like a smaller, weaker tentacle was wrapped around his leg, so it wasn't as strong as the ones that were holding down the slave one. But I mean, that's like I said earlier. It's sad that we have to make excuses for this kind of
Yeah,
thing
it
to try
is.
to rationalize it. It's not telling us anything. How is a Sarlacc so strong that it can hold a ship down? I mean, given like what Commander Tano mentioned earlier, that it shouldn't be able to reverse thrust, so maybe that's why. But let's say for the sake of Star Wars, that it can reverse thrust because it is a sci-fi show. Anything is about possible at this point for a sci-fi show. Let's say it can reverse thrust. How was it holding it down? That's something that bothered me that entire scene. I'm like, how is that thing so strong that it can hold down the slave one?
Well,
I agree.
actually, I just thought of this. When it takes off, it uses thrusters and all that type of situation. But maybe when it's doing that maneuver, it's using more sort of like the hovering tech that even the TIE fighters use.
And I guess that wouldn't be as strong as it needs to be to break from its grip.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that would like I said though, it's sad that we have to make excuses to try to rationalize what's going on here. It would be nice if they would have given us some sort of visual indication,
Or have Boba Fett sort of go, damn, the whatever technology I'm using isn't strong enough to isn't as strong as my thrusters or something like that.
And that's when Fennec looks back, hits the seismic charge button, and leans the ship so the seismic charge will roll off the side, and then create
Yeah,
finish up the sequence like they did in the episode. That would have been actually quite nice. I like that idea.
because I mean the thing is that it does tell us about the about the techno. It's a bit of world building.
Yeah.
And yeah,
That would only add to the story. It wouldn't take away from any of it. So I don't know what the problem would be with that. Now maybe people would just think that, hey, we're just whining about every part of it. I mean, I guess in a way we sort of are, but it's not because we want something to whine about. It's because they're giving us something to whine about. If you catch my drift. But I mean, there are some legitimate arguments we can make about, or not even there are legitimate criticisms we can make about this show, this episode in particular. Though it is the one that was, or I can't even say words. It is better than the other ones so far, but I still think that I mean, I'm holding hope right now that the next few episodes will be much, much better. I mean, if this episode is any indication, I feel like they will get much better because now it looks like we're done with the flashbacks, which I did enjoy the flashbacks, but we've mentioned many times how it could have been done differently, maybe even better that way. I mean, we're not experts, but I mean, that's how I feel it would have been done much better if they, did it how Soraya Way said. Um, but I feel like maybe now we'll actually get to what the show's about, and we'll actually see something going on. Maybe we'll see a little more Boba Fett action, hopefully to redeem Boba Fett, because the show so far seems like he doesn't make him into what he's supposed to be. He needs to be a little bit stronger, somebody that can hold his own and not depend on the strength of others all the time. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having others that are strong with you that can help you, but they don't need to be the ones doing all the hard work. Especially if you're the main character, you don't want to be a main character in a show that does nothing while everybody else is doing something around you, unless that is literally what the show is about. It's about this character that does nothing, and the show's going to change. That's about the only way that can work. Now, I'm no like writer or anything like that, but that's all I can see out of it. But I feel like he needs to be able to stand on his own 2 feet. And so far, anytime he's in a fight, he sort of just gets knocked down. I honestly don't know why they are continually doing that, but I mean, because in a way, I mean, can't they see themselves how that makes Boba Fett look? Do they honestly believe that him losing every fight and then Fennec or somebody else coming to save him, do they not understand how that makes that character look? I mean, I don't. These are questions that I don't think any of us can answer, but it is what it is. Anyway, done with my rant. Was there any other parts of the episode that you guys wanted to discuss mainly? Because I can't think of anything in particular at the moment.
No, I think we've pretty much hit the hit the max.
Okay.
But hang on. Who liked the rat catching robot just turning itself off?
Well,
I'm in trouble. I don't want to feel pain.
Yeah,
Turn off.
I enjoyed that scene. I really did. But I was wondering why he grabbed the droid and said, "I am Boba Fett. You know me?" I was sort of wondering about that. I'm like, is there a reason why they're showing this scene? Because I feel like that droid was going to somehow be found and reactivated, and then it gets word to somebody saying that Boba Fett is the one that took the ship or whatever, and then they send somebody after him. I was thinking, because I didn't know the flashback sequences were going to be over with, I was thinking the entire time that something was going to happen because they added that little bit in there. But apparently it was just there for comedic effect. That's all I can.
I want to see the droid rock up in modern day.
Oh yeah.
in post bib scenes.
Yeah. I mean, I was glad to see that droid in live action because the first time we ever seen one of those droids was in the Clone Wars, and it was really nice to see a droid model like that brought into live action. It looked really good in live action. I thought the design team made a really nice looking live action version of that droid because, I mean, the droid in the Clone Wars looked a little cartoony, of course, because it is an animated show, but the design was a little cartoony, in my opinion. And they made that design look actually like something that fits into the live action universe of Star Wars. So I think they did a pretty good job with it. And I did enjoy that scene. Though when the droid started crawling on all fours, I was like, oh my gosh, now they can crawl on all fours. That's a little creepy.
They fly now?
I'm not in the mood for that clip right now. Let me let me put a scene on that I'm in the mood for.
Hey,
There we go. I feel better now. Oh gosh. But yeah, no, it was a good scene. I enjoyed that scene. I just didn't understand why he introduced himself a second time in that episode. He first introduced himself to Finnick, which, that's understandable. But he also introduced himself to that droid. So I was just sort of like, why? I feel like
I really didn't like the part that where Boba Fett tries to catch the droid. I mean, it was funny when he did, and when the droid shuts down, like you said. I really had a good laugh with that.
it kind of went a bit too long.
Yeah, and I really disliked it because, again, they're making him look stupid. I mean, it's like, oh yeah, this is the legendary bounty hunter, and he can't catch a droid. Like, this is not Tom and Jerry. This is Star Wars.
Tom and Jerry. Actually, I can see that now. No, it isn't Tom and Jerry. I like that comparison though. That was good. Yeah, no, I sort of find that one of his most used lines in this show is that I am Boba Fett. He's constantly introducing himself.
Yes,
In a way, I guess it makes some sense because, he's trying to take over Mos Espa or just all of Tatooine. I don't know how far his rule will reach. Probably all of Tatooine, just like Jabba, but he's introducing himself everywhere he goes. And I just feel like that's one of the most used lines he's had is I am Boba Fett. So, I don't know. I don't know why he had to introduce himself to the droid, though. That's the only thing that bothered me about that scene. Now, I'm just nitpicking at this point, but,
We're going to end up getting like a flashback episode where he and the droid have some long history, and there's going to be some. That's the thing. You're thinking we're getting into the main story. We're not. No, it's jinxed. We're not.
We're not getting into the main story. The main story is how he met that droid in the first place, and trying to remind the droid that he is Boba Fett. So there's like some sort of memory loss thing going on here, and he's trying to remind him. There's a long story behind it, but I'm not here to tell that right now.
Or maybe he's watched too much Batman Begins.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, you know what?
I'm Batman.
Just constantly introducing himself. Oh gosh. Now I feel like some people should know who he is just by his armor a little bit. I feel like somebody should come up to him and be like, "What? You're Boba Fett? Oh my gosh! No, don't kill me, please. I'm sorry." Just give us like a little recognition for our character instead of always introducing himself. Like I said, I'm nitpicking at this point. It's not something major. It's not really.
Actually, it kind of is a little bit major.
It is.
The thing is that if the show was really so great, we wouldn't be having the nitpicks. We would just be going, "Oh my god! This is awesome! Woohoo!" and all that. But the simple fact of the matter is that each episode is kind of a bit of a mixed bag, and
some more than others. Episode 3.
I mean, the thing is that everyone's just sort of. It's kind of funny. Everyone. Well, sorry, I shouldn't say everyone because there are some people that are a bit sort of more blinded, but everyone that isn't already locked into a position sort of has the exact same opinions of all the episodes. First episode, second episode, that's great. Third episode, what the hell is this crap? Fourth episode, good.
Yeah.
But
no consistency at all.
Yeah. And no one is kind of, no one who isn't just high on consumerism. There's no one that's really sort of going, this is great. Most people go, this is great. And if if you say you're a Star Wars fan, you must enjoy everything that has Star Wars on it.
Yep.
So far, those are the only people that I've seen saying that they're loving the Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett. So yeah, currently it's a bit of an indictment that we are nitpicking, because the thing is that I've said it once, I've said it twice, I've said it 3 times, and I will say it again. Both post and pre are very anemic.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I think the reason is because we have post and pre scenes mixed into the same episode rather than having it split.
It really would have worked better if they just did full-on episodes that led up to where he is now. Skipping maybe certain parts like what you've seen in The Mandalorian, of course, because that's already been recorded and put on screen for us. But I feel like that it really, like what you said earlier, would have worked much better if they had just did it as full-on episodes on their own instead of having to split them up into different parts. So the fact that we're now done with hopefully we're done with the flashbacks, and we can actually get into what the show was advertised to be. Boba Fett taking over Tatooine.
We are, because he was told by the droid that he's already healed, so no more Bacta time for him, meaning no memory.
Oh yeah, that's right. Now,
well, maybe he needs a few more sessions with the Tusken Lizard guides to get over his daddy and abandonment issues.
Maybe.
Well, the one thing about the flashbacks though is I wish they would explain why he's having them. They mention it. He's saying like the dreams are back. They don't explain. As far as I remember, I don't think anybody has explained why he's having them, and I'd like to understand why they're there, because if they don't explain it, it's literally just an easy way of showing past events for them. It's like they're just finding an excuse to show us past rather than have full-on episodes about it. So those dreams, I don't feel like he should be having them because they haven't really given us a reason for it. It just feels like they added it in there just for the fun of it. You know what I mean? Because who's going to, like, every time they get in the back of the tank, it's like, okay, no, this is a better way to explain it. It's like, let's say I just want to lay in my bed. Look, every time I lay in my bed, I start having a dream. And then I wake up, the dream's over. Okay. I go to bed the next night, and I continue on with that dream. And I'm just, who in the world, like, whose dreams continue like that in a convenient order?
Hi.
Oh, hello there, Lil Oak. Nice to have you on. Nice to have you on here today. Well, anyways, so
actually, the reason why I was saying hi, and that was actually a really crazy amount of time, is I have dreams like that all the time.
Oh, you have dreams like that all the time? Really?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
I can even wake up, do small things,
That time you were taken to the Tusken?
and then pick up the dream from where I left off.
I want that. Like, sometimes I don't want that, but I do want that.
Only on the good ones.
It's well, I don't have nightmares, so they're all good.
Oh, well, that's good.
I want that too. Yeah. How do
Um,
you do that?
I don't know, but it might be a simple case of just being a lucid dreamer since I was before I knew what lucid dreaming was.
I have, like, it's not like I can like do lucid dreams all the time, but it's like I have learned that there are like certain tricks. If for me, if I want a dream to end, if it's a bad one, it's like if I'm being chased by something in a dream, I will like in the dream I will like just crouch into a ball on the ground and then it'll end.
Huh.
It's really weird.
Yeah, see, if there's a dream that I really don't want to continue, I simply just change the channel.
You just changed the channel? Is that how does that work with your brain?
I sit there and I go, yeah, no, change,
Well,
and I dream
okay,
about something else.
the reason why I was bringing this up because it's not. I don't feel like it's very common for anybody to have a consistent set of dreams
Yeah.
over multiple nights.
But I mean,
I guess it's possible.
The thing is though is that we are talking about trauma.
Oh, true. I guess I didn't think about it like that.
You need to wonder, is he dreaming or is this sort of like a deep meditation type of situation?
You know, that could be it too. I never really thought of that. But he did call it dreams.
Oh yeah, but I mean, it's still a dream, but he could be more in a meditative state than being asleep.
Well,
and
I guess
the thing is that unless you know the difference between meditation and sleep, you're just going to go, "Oh yeah, I was dreaming."
Well, okay, yeah, I get that.
And we don't know, and we don't know exactly what he's breathing in. Yes, I mean, of course, it would have to be oxygen, or air, but maybe there's an extra drug put in so you stay asleep or something like that.
Spice. There we go. There we go.
Maybe there is something that's sort of added, and
maybe there's a lizard in that filter.
It sort of controls the ability to put you into a state where your brain's not going to freak out to the fact that you are completely underwater.
There was that time, really, Spice jokes aside, there was that time, like in that Mandalorian episode where, he was saying the Empire's here, and Fennec was like, "Are you sure?" He's like, "No, this isn't a spice dream." So,
Okay, I forgot about that. I mean, okay, that you know what? Maybe Boba Fett has some spice in that filter or something like that he's breathing through. Maybe
that's why he wants to go to war with the Pikes. He wants to keep the spice. Like,
there we go. Okay, I see what Boba Fett's after now. He's
when he's telling them they're taking our wealth. Like, come on.
Yeah, no.
He's just got the good guy act going on for now. It's just a front. The real Boba Fett is waiting for the moment the Pikes are gone so he can take all that spice. Yeah, that's what the show's about. Well, we figured it out, guys. Spoiler alert. Sorry. Well, anyways, though, I mean, all jokes aside on that, I mean, I guess it wouldn't be too far to think that there might be something in that filter that sort of puts him in a meditative state of some sort. Because, I mean, what else are you going to do while laying in a bacta tank for a few hours, I mean, yeah, you can sleep, but you'll probably instinctively breathe through your nose. And I don't think he has anything going in through, covering his nose to keep him from breathing through his nose. Am I right or am I wrong?
I'm going to have a look now.
You're going to look it up again. Look,
Well,
I
I
mean,
do have the show. Here we go.
like I don't think that thing covers his nose, so you're going to
No,
instinctively.
it doesn't.
It doesn't. Okay, so
It
you
doesn't.
gotta like train yourself not to breathe through your nose or something while you're in that back detain because it's not
That's
covering your nose.
impressive.
If you sleep in there, you're going to instinctively breathe in through your nose.
That's really.
He'll
That is a
drown.
really bad design choice.
It really is. He'll drown. If he falls asleep, he'll drown. He must be in some sort of meditative state, but at the same time, he has to be somewhat conscious to be able to keep himself from breathing in through his nose because there's no way he would survive lying in there. Not like that.
Oh wow! See, the thing is that I can sort of understand. Now I'm wondering if Luke had something on his nose.
Oh my gosh! Now I gotta look that up. Oh Lord! Oh gosh! Hold on. I'm looking. I'm looking right now. Oh my
Yes,
god!
he
I was
did.
about to. Oh, he did. He had
He
something
did.
over his nose.
Yeah, he had.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay, well look at that. That's a very poor design choice.
yeah.
It's unsafe for the user.
Because I mean, the thing is that it's kind of understandable if he was vertical,
Mhm.
but horizontal, nah.
Well, I feel like if you're laying on your back too, horizontal, that would actually make it harder for you. The water would just be seeping into your nose. You wouldn't be able to keep it out. You'd start like literally drowning in there.
and the thing is that if you breathe out of the well, if you have to breathe out of your mouth, but that would definitely change the air pressure, and even the smallest amount of air pressure would have liquid going up your nose and down your throat,
Hmm.
unless you're consciously sort of this is just bothering me now.
I'm sorry I mentioned it. I find these little
Ah.
things, and I'm like, this is one small thing that bothers. I start nitpicking tiny little things, and then now everybody else notices it, and now it's just going to bother everybody.
And I mean, the thing is that even sort of like a plug up the nostrils wouldn't be good enough.
I feel like they need just something covering that whole region of the face.
Yeah, that just
It's sort of like the clear mask thing that Han Solo and Leia were wearing in Empire Strikes Back when they went outside on the asteroid.
That's actually pretty much what they should have used.
They really should have. It would. I mean, they could have maybe made it look a little similar to what they currently have, but they should have added like some sort of clear plastic or clear whatever thing that covers that region.
Yeah,
and then it has that big gray box attached to it somewhere.
If there's a small amount of space in the nose plug, he'll have liquid going down his throat.
Yeah, and that's not preferable if you're submerged underneath.
No. No,
It's bothering you so badly now.
Not. It's not just that. It's not just that. It's there was a film I was in, and I had to be sprayed in the face with the character was being sprayed in the face with quote unquote oil. What they used was chocolate topping.
Oh,
And they shot it out from a little fountain pump, and through a hose, and we plugged my nose up with a whole lot of cotton wool and just a whole lot of stuff to make sure it didn't go down my nose and down my throat. It went down my nose and down my throat.
So it didn't help.
No. So the thing is that the best plug is actually to sort of clamp your nose type of situation. But the thing was that in the scene I was being strangled to death while this stuff was being splashed onto my face. So having a clip on your nose, closing your nostrils, wouldn't have worked.
Probably not.
But no, it really was interesting, sort of being fake strangled while you were essentially suffocating on chocolate topping.
So really, they were pretending to strangle you, but they were actually really trying to, because they were trying to make it as if they.
That's very
didn't
clever.
intend it. Yeah.
It actually made lying still and looking like I was dead while chocolate topping was just pouring down the back of my throat.
Well, I think they wanted you to act
Realism.
like you were. Yeah, they wanted realism, but they didn't want the guy that was strangling you to actually be doing it, because if it went too far, you wouldn't be here right now. So they wanted something else to be doing it.
But so I mean, the thing is that getting to the reason why I told the story, and the simple fact of the matter is that you would need a clip on the nose, especially if you were sleeping.
Yeah.
And frankly, a nose plug or having it completely open wouldn't be enough.
Oh no.
And frankly, he probably should have been breathing out of his nose. Because that's kind of something that you should do if you're underwater.
Yep. It's
yet again, it goes back to the nitpicking.
Yeah. It's just going to bother you, though, until, if they do it again, if they put him back in that thing, it's just going to bother you every single time you see it now.
Yes.
That's if they ever do it again. They might not do it anymore, because it seems that the visions and all this stuff are done. Like you said, I think they said that he was fully healed and everything, so he don't need it anymore. So if that's the case, then maybe we won't see that again, and we won't be so annoyed by that now that we've noticed that little detail. But oh gosh.
When you said he was fully healed, I was thinking so now what's going to be the excuse for when they beat his ass up?
Well,
because it used to be that, oh yeah, he's not 100%, he's hurt, and now it's going to be he's not anymore, so.
No, he's fully healed now, so he should be able to fight and not get thrown on the ground again.
Well, I mean, the thing is that from the sound of it, they're winding up to the actual war with the pikes. So, it would be kind of really crappy and really silly if they decide to still have him being thrown around like a rag doll.
I mean, I get maybe the fight with the Wookiee, because Wookiees are rough, but I don't think that he should have been thrown around by those guys on the street and I think it was on the first episode.
Oh yeah,
I don't think he should have been thrown around by those guys.
using the shield.
I don't think that he should be so easily beat.
Oh, actually, hang on, I've got that up because this was actually an argument that I kept on seeing on Twitter. And it kind of really bothered me. So hang on a second. Here we go. Because the thing is that they're sort of going, well, he's got a jetpack. But the thing is that I think from memory, they pretty much close ranks pretty quickly. So frankly, they were in melee range of his jetpacks. Here we go. Roll. Yeah. There's. Okay. Here we go. Going to debunk something for Twitter here. Every time a jetpack has been used, it has been in a. There's always been a bit of a delay. How much damage would have been done to the jetpacks if they had have used those weapons as he's powering up the jetpack? My answer would be probably a lot. Now the fight is still absolutely ridiculous, but at least have a good argument. Frankly, what he should have done was not fired his rocket launcher or whatever it was, but fired his. No, hang on. Does he flamethrowers?
I don't think he used the flamethrower.
No. But does he have them?
Yeah,
he has it.
Flamethrowers would have been the weapon of choice. Why?
Like,
they're all wearing fabric.
Not to mention that those shields, I don't think covered their whole bodies. You can probably hit their feet.
They
with
don't.
It.
They don't. If he had have fired the flamethrower on the ground, it would have broken up the formation, and thus, they could have gotten into a better fight. Because actually, I got to admit, rewatching the fight scene, it actually makes Boba Fett and Fennec seem like amateurs.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, everyone sort of complained about Boba Fett being made to look silly. Actually, the fight makes both of them look actually kind of ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing I'd say in general. It isn't. I feel like her character. Like, I think we talk a lot about how Boba Fett's character is kind of made to look silly, or it's like his armor is underutilized and kind of the post-bib stuff. And I do feel like there's, to some extent, it's like Fennec's being underutilized. It's like we don't need all these. We don't need these kids on rainbow scooters. It's like let's have Fennec handle some of this stuff. You know, it's like
rainbow scooters.
Well, technically, she did handle the Wookiee.
She did.
Yeah,
just walking in and just going, pull lever, see ya.
Well, she did do really good in this last episode, I think. Like,
yes, yeah.
She was really good in this last episode. I did enjoy the fight that was going on near the end when they were trying to capture the slave one, and I enjoyed what she was doing to, I guess, cover their escape as they were trying to get out of there. So that was a pretty fun scene to watch. So if they just continue doing that, I don't think they'll be underutilizing her at all. I think that would be making perfect use of what she is supposed to be, an assassin or somebody that has got those capabilities. Because she really shouldn't be the kind of political person that she seems to be at this point. She's more of like trying to tell Boba that this is the way here, so maybe we should follow that. Instead of being like that voice of reason, air quotations, she should be, sort of like a guard in a way, or somebody that he uses to keep the peace, but with authority. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that almost sounds like there should be a third character.
There really should.
In the
There really
mix.
should.
That's more sort of the politician, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm. Maybe even just a droid of some sort. Just give us somebody that's there to sort of. I mean, I guess we already sort of have one of those droids.
I wouldn't make it a droid.
Well, yeah, I mean, since we already have a droid that's sort of like that, it probably wouldn't be a good idea to have another droid doing that. Maybe no, I don't think there's any known characters I can think of.
I think there really needed to be like a third character.
I feel like you're right about that. Somebody that's there to help inform him of his political decisions, but not to be so intrusive.
Not so much to inform, but to be that political animal.
Or that, yeah.
Because the thing is that at this present moment, Fennec is sort of like playing the enforcer and the political animal, and it kind of doesn't fit.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was saying. Enforcer, that was the word I couldn't think of earlier. Enforcer, the one that enforces. Yeah, okay. Sorry. My brain died.
And I think they're aiming for the Wookiee to be that character, but yet again,
the Wookiee being the political guy or the
enforcer? The enforcer, which I think yet again wouldn't really suit.
I'd love to see the Wookiee be the political guy.
I can just imagine it. His politics. Yes. That's a great impersonation, sir, anyway.
Oh, okay. Perfect. I thought it was pretty crappy.
No, it was perfect. Well, anyways.
But I mean, the thing is that it definitely wouldn't suit the character. I'm just trying to think of they almost need a Lando.
They really do.
They almost need a Lando, a sort of sardonic type of character that's just sort of very much a political animal that will thoroughly enjoy manipulating.
These are animals. Put the animal and political animal.
Yeah. But
negotiations.
The
aggressive
reason
negotiations.
The reason why I'm saying not the Wookiee is because it's going to be a very large speaking role, and you don't want
everybody will just be looking back and forth. What is this guy
for 3 minutes.
And there'll be just this one guy at the end of the table being like, my gosh, this guy, what words of wisdom. I've never been so amazed by the ideas, just the majesty of this man or this Wookiee. And then everybody else is just looking at that guy like, you understand that thing?
See, you're making me want that to happen. You're making me want the Wookiee to be the politician.
Hey, it would be funny.
Hey, that would make the show better, way better.
In the ranges of the New Republic, we can have a Wookiee senator, and
We already do. I think in one of the original prequel movies, I think it was the first one. They're in the Senate scene where they're saying vote now.
There were Wookiee senators.
We
Of
do
course,
technically
they
have
didn't
that.
exactly. Of course, they didn't exactly have the Wookiee senators speaking.
Well,
But
I wish they would show it because now I want to see it.
yeah,
Everybody in the Senate are just looking back at each other like, yeah, what they said, yeah, totally. And then there'll be that one guy's like, do you even understand what they're saying? No, but I am all for it because they sound like they are very inspirational beings. I want that now. I want it.
actually, that would be a really cool scene. Especially if they have Cara Dune being the main character. You know, she's walking into the Senate, listening, and just sort of goes, "What the hell is the Wookiee saying?" And whereas she asked that question to, goes back, "No idea," but I mean, if you know, judging by the responses, it must be inspirational.
There you go. That's actually a really cool scene. I would. Hey, no, we'll just pull a what is it? Holiday special. We'll just pull that. No subtitles, no nothing. Nobody's. We just try to figure out what they're saying. Yeah, we'll just pull a holiday special.
Actually, that's what we need. We need a Wookiee sitcom.
Yeah. Oh my god. No, that's basically what that was. That really was what that was.
No, because you know, sitcoms are trying to be funny, not unintentionally being funny.
No, I think they were actually trying, but they failed miserably, like horribly. Like I don't know how colossal the failure was, but I know it was worse than the Starkiller base. Like that big of a failure, just a big planet that takes the power of the sun, deletes the sun, destroying the entire galaxy around that sun, including itself, and then
solar
having
system.
no power afterward. Or solar system, not galaxy, solar system. But after it takes the sun, there and it has no power. That is just a big, powerless station floating aimlessly because there's no sun gravity to hold it in. And that's a failure.
I do have to, see. This is the thing. You know, the more you think about the sequel trilogy and the more you dig into it, the more you want to remove it from the face of the earth, or use some fire spray, pest spray.
Yeah, that might actually be the one thing that will remove it from canon.
Because the thing is that you have trees all over Starkiller Base, but yet it wipes out suns.
Yep.
And the thing is that the Death Star was able to have one power generator, and it was powerful enough to keep the damn thing running and fire a laser powerful enough to destroy a planet.
Yep.
And Starkiller Base uses the power of an entire sun and only destroys 5 planets.
Yep.
In one laser. You know, that's okay, it's probably absolutely massive and the size of a small country. But you're using the power of a sun.
The one thing that's keeping all the planets in the solar system in rotation.
I'm sorry.
Unless somehow they've installed some sort of propulsion system to the planet to be able to direct the planet in any direction it wants to be, which I don't see that happening. I don't understand how that can be. Yeah, there's no. I don't think there's any way.
And then there's this. Then there's the fact that somehow Starkiller Base can contain a sun.
The power of that, because it looks like
No,
it's
no,
literally
it
absorbing the
contains
sun.
a sun. Yeah, contain a sun.
Yeah, because the sun literally disappeared.
It would be like saying that we're going to stuff Jupiter into the center of the Earth.
That would make no sense.
You just answered your own question because you said just in the same way Poe said it. Somehow Palpatine returned. Well, somehow,
That's true.
Somehow answers everything.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Oh.
I mean, the fact that the sun disappeared and it wasn't just complete darkness after a while, like complete darkness. Not to mention that temperatures dropping at a rapid rate due to the fact that it's already a snow planet, and that now that there's no sunlight, no warmth from the sun at all, there's going to be a whole ice age on that planet too. There's no way that sleeveless Rey, or even Kylo Ren being out there. There should be no
also
way.
Another good point.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way.
God.
I mean, because they're both going to freeze to death. Helmetless Kylo, his face would literally freeze. I mean, probably even his robes aren't thick enough to keep him warm out there. The only heat they have is from the lightsabers.
It wouldn't freeze as quickly as you think.
Well, it might not
Because
instantly
the thing
go
is,
that
is
cold.
that because the thing is that if our sun disappeared today and disappeared in 5 seconds, it would actually be a fairly long time before the surface of our planet freezes. Because the thing is that, we have geothermal heat.
True.
And there would be the heat from the atmosphere, kept in by the atmosphere.
True. Okay, I didn't think about that. That's true.
Now,
but still,
you would still all be screwed. I mean,
yeah.
If you were on the surface of the planet, you would be stuffed.
Mm-hmm.
But it wouldn't actually.
It wouldn't happen instantly, of course.
It wouldn't happen instantly, and it would be almost the same for Starkiller Base.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it would take if the sun was to go out, and Earth didn't have a sun anymore, our solar system just dies. If the sun went away, we wouldn't know about it until about 8 minutes after it happens, because all the light that we're receiving is about 8 minutes old light.
I didn't know that one.
Huh? You didn't know that?
I didn't know the actual time.
Oh, well, as far as I remember, I was told it, or I looked it up or something. I found it out somehow. It was 8 minutes. So about 8 minutes ago, somehow I probably learned it in high school or something, or middle school. I don't know. But that's something I've always felt like I knew. So I feel like I've known it for a long time. So I feel like that's what it is. But 8 minutes. So the light that you see right now is, or if there is any light right now, but the light you see right now is 8 minutes old. It came from the sun 8 minutes ago. It's whether it's dark or not. I mean, there's still light reflecting. If you see the moon out there, that's sunlight reflecting down. So once the sun's gone, there ain't going to be any moonlight either, because the sun is no longer reflecting off the moon. It's no longer there. Once all that light that came from the sun is gone, it's just total darkness. Like if you've been in an eclipse before, the area underneath the eclipse is just total darkness. There's
well,
no
not total darkness.
Well, I mean, well, you know what I mean. It's really dark.
Yes.
So once that sun is gone, it's going to be I want to say it'll be darker than usual because there won't be no reflected light coming off of a moon or anything like that. Because that's sometimes we have some nighttime night hours that are like sort of bright, and that's because the moon looks really bright in the sky. That's just because it's reflecting
Hunter's moon.
Yeah, there you go. It's reflecting sunlight off of the moon and back down to us. So even though it's not the full on like sunlight hitting us, it is still some light coming just because it is reflecting from the moon. So it will be a little bit darker than usual. And I'd say that, that scene would have looked a lot darker depending on however long it takes the light to reach this planet that they're on. So if it went on any longer, I'd say it'd just been total darkness and there'd be nothing there.
No, actually, I always find it amusing to say that we're always looking into the past.
Well, that's rich coming from someone from the future.
But no, I mean the reason is because that brief time period from when the light hits something before it hits our eyes, there's a time gap.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, it's so short that most humans can react to something flying at their heads like a tennis ball or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It is kind of amusing to sort of say that we're always looking into the past, even from the future. Hi, from the future.
Well, I mean, just think about it. Like 2 hours ago, we were thinking about the stream, and now 2 hours later, we're talking about, we're just
past.
now thinking about the past. Yeah. So, I mean, it's like we're always looking back at the past. And that was a terrible metaphor that I was trying to create. I don't know what's wrong with me today.
No, you're right. Because we are back to ranting about the sequel trilogy, which we always
Oh
do.
my gosh. You're so right. You are so right. We're back at it again. We can never get away from it. The past always catches up with us.
Because the thing is that the sequel trilogy is a toxic, poisonous swamp. And until Disney dredges that swamp and removes it, it's always going to infect current discussions.
Yeah. Actually, I want to stay away from sequel trilogy because that's a whole can of worms that we can open at some other point once again. I know it will happen.
We still need to do that watch party.
We really do. We got to figure out when to do that.
Sometime next week.
I'll see how my schedule goes. I won't make any guarantees just yet. We'll work. I'll figure it out behind the scenes, we'll figure it out behind the scenes and see when it's best.
The next snow day you have.
The next snow day. But if I knew that I wasn't going to be able to go in today, I would have said, why don't we just do the watch party today? Because that would have, that would have been today would have been a pretty good day for it. But
but you've got to remember that your day is my midnight.
Yeah, exactly. So I would have to do it like around this time, or maybe another hour or so later. And so actually, no, today wouldn't be a good day. If I knew I wasn't going in tomorrow, if I didn't have to go in today or tomorrow, then today would be a good day for me. But that's not the same for everybody else. Anyway, before we go off on another rant about the sequel trilogy, there's one more thing about the Book of Boba Fett episode that we just watched that I wanted to mention. And it's something that we criticized in the last episode. And and then after we get done with this part, we'll go ahead and end the stream because it's 2 hours 15 minutes. Um, we're getting there, to almost 2 hours and 30 minutes like we usually do. So let's go ahead and end it with this part of the discussion here. So last time we sort of talked about how the Wookiee that they captured, they just let him go and be like, hey, you know what? Get out of here. Yeah, I mean, don't become a bounty hunter. Just go. Just take it from an ex bounty hunter. All that. That whole scene. Instead of recruiting the Wookiee, he sets him free. Well, they corrected that in this episode, and Boba Fett comes to recruit him at the end. And honestly, I thought that was a really good decision they made story-wise because that really makes sense for what he's doing. I mean, if he's about to go to war, like we mentioned last time, he's going to need all the muscle he can get. And a Wookiee that can rip the arms off of a literally rip the arms off of a Trandoshan with ease, it would be stupid not to have
it's
somebody.
a great job interview.
Yes, exactly. I mean, that whole scene was a job interview that he didn't even intend it, but it works, and I'm glad that Boba Fett decided to recruit him, and I'm assuming that he will end up joining if he hadn't already, because I think he was in the scene where they were all gathered around the table. I think I seen him standing around in there or something like that. Maybe I'm wrong. I've only watched the episode once.
Yeah, no, he was there, but that was
there
after he was hired.
Okay,
Not
so
before.
he's there now. Well, I know that. I mean, now he's there. He's going to be probably the enforcer, as you said earlier. So now he's forming his army, I guess.
And from the sound of it, the Power Rangers aren't just those 4 or 5. From the sound of it, there's a lot more Power Rangers than we've seen so far, and they're acting as from the sound of it, the local grunts.
I'm just wondering, can they go back and color correct those post production? Can they go back and color correct all those rainbow scooters?
Yeah, we need a Book of Boba Fett special edition.
Exactly.
Probably.
There's no problem you can't special edition away.
The problem is that they're probably always going to be shiny.
Well, that's not 100% the worst thing. As long as they don't look like a bunch of rainbow scooters like Commander Tano said, I think it'll be a lot better.
There is no problem you can't special edition away.
Hey, you could probably make them ride something completely different.
Well, see,
I've got a better idea. Just
Okay.
get one of those like CGI creatures to just walk in front of those scenes. and including the mayor's office, including all of that. Have just one of those big dinosaurs walking in front, so that's all you see, and that'll fix it.
Have the kids walk over the tails of the big dinosaur lizards.
Yeah, just have them
like Han with Jabba.
Yeah, just have them forcibly removed from the scene and made to make an arc upward and downward. Just forcibly don't shoot them actually walking over something. Forcibly rip their character out of the scene to make them do an arc like Han Solo. It'll be the jankiest thing you'd ever seen, just like Han Solo.
Yep.
Actually, I do have to admit, it was actually okay done. It wasn't
Well, there's two like special editions, and I think in the first one, where Jabba looked a lot worse in CGI, like he did not look right in the CGI. I don't think they made Han Solo go like arc as high. If that's the one you're thinking of, then that one wasn't so bad. It sort of made sense. I know it looked a little weird, but it made sense because he's got a tail there. No, he didn't even walk over it. He didn't even walk over it. That's the thing. That's right. No, the second special edition, the one with the better CGI Jabba, that's the one where okay, no, never mind. I'm getting my brain wrong. My brain's not working right. So, no, I thought it was the jankiest thing I'd ever seen. It did not look right to me. But,
Actually, I do have to admit, and I've just sort of realized this, Jabba really packed on the weight between the movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Between which movies?
A New Hope and the last time we saw him. And
well, if you're talking about the terrible looking CGI Jabba, then yes, because he looked smaller.
I'd love to just special edition the sequels with just random tattooing dinosaurs wandering in just places they shouldn't.
No. You special edition the sequel trilogy by removing it off the face of the earth.
No, I got a better one for you.
Special edition by hitting the delete button. Delete.
The special edition is just a completely blank screen.
Still better than the last Jedi.
If you can even order if you want a physical copy, it's just an empty box, empty case.
The special edition. You get like a little paper that says, "This is a very special box. Take care of it." That wasn't that.
And the old Star Wars fans would buy the hell out of it.
Of course, I would much sooner buy that empty box than watch The Last Jedi again.
Well, guess what? We're watching it next week.
You keep reminding me. But actually, I had a better one. Just have one of those CGI creatures.
There is still plenty of time, Shay, to go out and buy some alcohol.
Well, you're talking to a non-alcoholic drinker, so probably not going to happen. I'll just
for now.
You think this will break me? Well, we'll find out, I guess. Stay tuned to the watch party to see if it breaks me.
You can stock up on spice.
What now?
You can stock up on spice before the movie.
Now, spice might be another thing. I might give me a back to tank, sprinkle a little bit of that spice in the filter, and just lay in there, relax, and be force tripping, because that's another thing. It'll help me get in tune with myself. But you have to have spice to do it, because you can't be tripping with the force without spice.
No, come on. You use the force to force trip.
The force isn't a drug, though, which is why that makes no sense to me.
No, but you force the force to force your brain to trip.
I still feel like you need spice. Well, anyway, we finally, I guess, got over our discussion here. So we're going to once again get back with the sponsor team here real quick, because I think they got something for us. So I'll just go ahead and hand it over to the sponsor team.
Thank you, Shane. Today's sponsor for the Force Collective is Fire Spray Pest Spray. Are you a farmer having troubles with pests in the outer rim? Well, grab some of this product and blow them away. The company has recently released its new product, the Slave 1. designed to handle the largest speeder gangs or Sarlacc pits. With one pull of the trigger, wipe these pests out with extreme prejudice. Fire spray, pest spray, for when you need to remove annoyances off maps. Back to you, Shade.
Oh gosh, I never get tired of those. I really don't. I love them. But yeah, I guess that's the end of the stream for today. So if you enjoyed it, leave a like, leave a comment. I forgot to plug some things. We got Discord, people.
Well,
I got.
You forgot to plug this stream on Twitter.
Oh, dang it! You know what? I'm not with it today. I told you I'm not with it today. So that's, well, you know what? We had one guy show up though, so that's something. So I'm. That sounds sad now that I say it that way, doesn't it? Wow. I sound like I'm desperate at this point. We had one guy. Oh gosh. But okay, but for anybody that ends up watching this, we have a Discord. We have a Twitch. I was trying to say Twitter and Twitch. I also have a Twitter. It's also down there in the description. But all three links are in the description: Discord, Twitch, Twitter, all of them. We have fun on the Discord. So if you want to join the fun, you can always just click that little link down there and join us. It'll be fun. And every once in a while, we stream on Twitch when things are all good with us, So stay tuned for that. I'll try to remember to plug that on my Twitter, which you should also follow in the description below. I forgot to do that with this stream today because my brain isn't working. Like I said earlier, I'm a bit under the weather today, so it's just been that kind of day for me. But I have all three of those in the description. If you want to join, you can. And I guess that's it for today. So if you enjoyed it, also subscribe to the channel, because it's always fun to have new people watching. And we'll see you in the next one, probably next week with the watch party that we're supposedly doing. I will for sure post it on Twitter if we are doing it. I promise this time. But don't hold me to it because sometimes I forget. Anyway, this is the worst outro I think I've ever done.
That's fine.
It's fine. Totally fine. All right. Well, we'll see you later. May the force be with you always.
The problem of the